So you may have noticed that Kevin Spacey has been in the news, but you could be forgiven for being a bit confused as to why. Reuters reported, actor Kevin Spacey declares he lives life as a gay man. Well, I guess congratulations are in order. ABC News, I choose now to live as a gay man. Kevin Spacey comes out in emotional tweet. Stunning and brave. Here's a headline from the BBC. Why are people angry about Kevin Spacey coming out? Well, obviously because they're a bunch of homophobes, probably Trump supporters, and by that I mean Nazis. The Daily Beast has a problem with Kevin Spacey's coming out message. Well, that sounds a tad homophobic. I thought being gay won you some brownie points from the social justice crowd. Kevin Spacey's apology slammed by Dan Savage, Rose McGowan, Billy Eichner. What do you mean, he apologised for being gay? That sounds like internalised homophobia. Actor Anthony Rapp, Kevin Spacey made a sexual advance toward me when I was 14. Wait, is that a different story? No, it turns out it's actually part of the same story. Now, none of the previous headlines referring to Spacey's coming out actually leave out the allegations made by Anthony Rapp, but why lead off with those headlines? It wasn't exactly a secret inside Hollywood that Spacey had batted for both teams in the past. I would have thought the biggest story would have been Spacey allegedly sexually assaulting, harassing a minor. I mean, coming out of the closet is so 1990s. If you really want to make a splash these days, you've got to at least come out as another gender. So what actually prompted this story? Well, it wasn't Spacey coming out as gay. It was Anthony Rapp coming out with his story, which is basically this. Back in 1986, when he was just 14 years of age, Rapp met Spacey, then 27, as they were both working in separate Broadway shows. Spacey then invites Rapp to a party at his place, and soon after Rapp arrives at the party, he realises that he's the only non-adult. He becomes bored and he wanders into the bedroom, sits on the edge of the bed, and watches TV. Then at some point, Rapp said Spacey appeared in the bedroom doorway. My memory was that I thought, oh, everybody's gone. Well, yeah, I should probably go home. Spacey, he recalled, sort of stood in the doorway, kind of swaying. My impression when he came in the room was that he was drunk. Rapp doesn't remember Spacey saying anything to him. Instead, he said, he picked me up like a groom picks up the bride over the threshold, but I don't squirm away initially because I'm like, what's going on? And then he lays down on top of me. He was trying to seduce me. I don't know if I would have used that language, but I was aware that he was trying to get with me sexually. He said Spacey was like pressing into me, and that he remembers Spacey tightening his arms. But while he can't recall exactly how long Spacey remained on top of him, Rapp said he was able to squirm away after a short period. He then stepped into the bathroom and closed the door, where he saw a picture of Spacey with his arm around another man. So he thought Spacey must be gay. He then opened the door and announced that he was going home. Spacey followed him to the door and said, "Are you sure you want to go?" He said yes, good night, and left. So after this story was published, Spacey made a somewhat strange response. I have a lot of respect and admiration for Anthony Rapp as an actor. I'm beyond horrified to hear his story. I honestly do not remember the encounter. It would have been over 30 years ago. But if I did behave as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been deeply inappropriate drunken behaviour, and I'm sorry for the feelings he describes having carried with him all these years. This story has encouraged me to address other things about my life. I know that there are stories out there about me, and that some have been fueled by the fact that I have been so protective of my privacy. As those closest to me know, in my life I have had relationships with both men and women. I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man. I want to deal with this honestly and openly, and that starts with examining my own behaviour. So naturally, that response led to widespread condemnation, including many Hollywood insiders that accused Spacey's coming out as gay to distract from the fact he tried to molest a child. Well, it seemed to have worked on some of the media. Now, I'll come back to that, but first I want to go to the opening paragraph of Spacey's statement. Spacey says he doesn't remember the incident, and fair enough, it was over 30 years ago and he was drunk. But I want you to imagine these scenarios. Someone says to you, "Hey, I saw you at a party 20 to 30 years ago, drunk, trying to hit on a woman." And you might say, "Yeah, well, I don't remember that, but I was young and single, and so, yeah, that's possible." Now imagine someone says to you, "Hey, I saw you at a party 30 years ago, drunk, and you were trying to molest a 14-year-old child. Now, if you're not a child molester, you'd probably answer, hey, look, I don't remember that party, but there's no way I would have tried to molest a 14-year-old child. But Spacey's statement suggests that even though he doesn't remember the incident, it's at least plausible. It's something that he could have imagined doing. Now, of course, conflating homosexuality with molesting children got an understandable backlash from the gay community, who've tried hard and mostly succeeded in discrediting the notion that being gay means you're prone to prey on children. People like Rosie O'Donnell, Wanda Sykes, Cameron Esposito. Yes, I know this is starting to sound like a list of the world's least funniest people. Dan Savage, Zachary Quinto, just to name a few. Here's what Milo had to say about it.
What is your reaction to the story?
Well, it's amazing that the left is eating its own like this and going for its own people. But what I found absolutely disgusting about his response, as somebody who's been a victim of that earlier in my life, is that his excuse was, oh, well, if I did it, I don't remember, it was a long time ago, I was drunk. And by the way, I'm gay, as a way of sort of saying, well, so I'm untouchable, so I must enter this victim class that you're not allowed to criticize. And in doing that, he conflated, and this is the one thing that I thought, you know, that the gay rights activists hated more than anything else, was conflating gay people with child molesters. That's exactly what he's done. I mean, he's literally committed the cardinal sin of, gays in public life.
As you know, people who are anti-gay, many people who are anti-gay, do exactly that. They say that
I think in the past that was true.
Gays can't have children, so therefore they have to groom and
I think in the past that was true.
Was true.
And what has Kevin Spacey done? Confirmed that bigotry. Confirmed that nasty insinuation. That horrible thing that goes off in the back of people's minds when some people's minds, not many these days, I don't think. Maybe in the past, that if somebody's gay, there must be something deeper and darker and more sinister about them. Well, thanks, Kevin Spacey. And you know what it shows also is that he's appealing to this sort of liberal social justice, victimhood, identity politics stuff, where if you're a member of a protected class, you get special passes.
So was it a deliberate attempt on Spacey's part to wrap himself in the cloak of victimhood? I mean, why come out now after all this time? Why not before? Does Spacey think that being gay somehow excuses his actions? The best spin you could possibly put on this is that it was a poorly thought out and ill-timed response to make after being accused of sexually assaulting a minor. Again, you can imagine a different type of scenario. Some male celebrity gets called out for having pinned a 14-year-old girl up against a wall by her wrists and trying to kiss her before she manages to squirm away. And then he comes out and says that this has encouraged him to address other issues in his life. For some time, I've been living a secret life of BDSM, as though that would explain why you pinned a 14-year-old up against a wall. And there could be more revelations to come about Spacey. Journalist Heather, I can't pronounce that, posted a series of tweets suggesting a loved one of hers will come forward with another story. And this story suggests Spacey got a bit grabby in a bar, so stay tuned for that. And what explains the reaction by some of the media to lead with the coming out story as a headline? Are they sympathetic? Are they trying to protect one of their own, or at least soften the blow? Would Kim Richards, CEO and chairman of Allied Artists, say the same thing if the alleged victim had been a 14-year-old girl at the time? At least 600 people agree with him that it was okay because he was drunk. I don't know the answers, but perhaps next year's season 6 finale of House of Cards will be the last you'll see of Kevin Spacey on screen for some time. So, is Spacey attempting to cloak himself in victimhood, or is his House of Cards collapsing beneath him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next time.